Computer science videos here today to show you guys in tutorial 3 of programming with CSS3, CSS selectors. Without further ado, let us start the video. So in this tutorial, you need to have access to a Mac computer. So now we can go all the way down to the dock, go to the launch pad, search for the application, text edit, click on this and then Command S to save. Go to the folder that holds all your CSS3 work, documents, my YouTube channel, CSS3 tutorials. Create a new folder, call this CSS Selectors. Create, go to the file name, index.htm, save, yes, use.htm, increase the size of the text edit file, and now we are ready to start the programming in HTML5 and CSS3, in particular CSS. But before we do that, we need to explain CSS selectors and what they are really about. Well, CSS selectors are used to find or select the HTML elements you want to style. We can divide the CSS selections into 5 categories: simple selectors, combinator selectors, pseudo class selectors, pseudo element selectors, attribute selectors. So, simple selectors select elements based on name, ID, and class, whereas a combinator selector will select elements based on a specific relationship between them. Pseudo class selectors will select elements based on a certain state. The pseudo element selectors will select and style a part of an element. The last one, attribute selectors, will select elements based on an attribute or an attribute value. So now we can focus on the CSS element selector. The element selector selects HTML elements based on the element name. If we go to the text edit file, increase the font size, less than exclamation mark, doc type in capitals, HTML, less than slash HTML. Within this, we need the head and body. We can have a title within the head if required to run off for this tutorial. Go into the body and start programming some HTML. Paragraph. Every paragraph will be affected by the style. End with P, go to a new line, less than P, ID equals speech marks para 1 greater than me too. End with P, go to a new line, add a new paragraph. Yes, end with P. So we have printed out some paragraphs. To style this, go within head, add style a couple of times, less than slash style. Within this, bring in text align to the center. Colon center, semicolon, new line indent color, colon red, semicolon, and before this we need P, curly brace, otherwise it will not work, curly brace again to end, Command S to save, go all the way down to the dock, go to Finder, documents, my YouTube channel, CSS3 tutorials, CSS selectors, index.htm, decrease the size of the web browser, decrease the size of the text edit file so we can then see both windows at the same time and then simultaneously work on both at the same time. And now we can move on to the CSS Id Selector. And we know the Id Selector uses the ID attribute of an HTML element to select a specific element. The ID of an element is unique within a page, so the Id Selector is used to select one unique element. To select an element with a specific ID, write a hash character followed by the ID of an element. Go back to the text edit file. Before P in style, add a hashtag. Change P to para1. Go within body. P equals ID equals para1. Changes to hello world for the moment. Remove yes. Highlight the top line and bring it to the bottom. Go back to the web browser, right click, reload the page. And what do we have? Hello world in red in the center as we are telling the line through the style and CSS. And so the ID selector uses the ID attribute of a HTML element to select a specific element that we have done on screen. If we change P to PID equals para1. Now let's see what happens. Command S to say go back to the web browser, right click, reload the page. Go to para1. Yes, text align center, color red. Go to the body. The same thing will happen. And now we can move on to the CSS Class Selector. The class selector selects HTML elements with a specific class attribute. To select elements with a specific class, write a period character followed by a class name. So we can do that now. Go back to the text edit file. Change the hashtag para1 to .center. Text align, center, color red, yes. Go to the body. Go to a new line, less than H1. Class equals speech mark center. We can say something like a new heading. Less than /H1. Copy the previous line of code. Highlight, copy, go to a new line. Command V to paste, change H1 to P. H1 to P again. Remove the next two lines of code. Command S to save, go back to the web browser, right click, reload the page. And what do we have? A new heading. Text align center, color red. A new heading. Text align center, color red. That's a heading, that's a paragraph. And now we can move on to the CSS Universal Selector. The Universal Selector, which is a star, also known as asterisk, selects all HTML elements on a page. Go to the text edit file, change .center to asterisk. Text align center, color red, yes. Go within the body. H1 hello world. Less than P, paragraph, hello world again. end the paragraph, less than P, ID equals speech marks, para 1, greater than hello, less than /P, greater than. Command S to save, go back to the web browser, right click, reload the page. Everything is in the center, color is red, headings, paragraphs. The Universal Selector, which is the asterisk, selects all the HTML elements on the page. Now we can move on to CSS Grouping Selector. So, the Grouping Selector selects all the HTML elements with the same style definitions. We can now use H1, H2, and P elements that have the same style definitions. Go back to the text edit file, change the asterisks to H1, comma H2, comma again P, curly brace, text align center color red, go within body, remove what we have, H1 greater than hello, less than /H1, copy the previous line of code, highlight, copy, paste not once but twice, change H1 to H2, likewise on the right hand side, and then change H1 to P, likewise again on the right hand side. Command S to save, go back to the web browser, right click, reload the page, and what do we have? Hello, hello, hello 3 times, heading 1, 2, and a paragraph, all with the CSS Grouping Selector. So in this tutorial, we looked at all the CSS simple selectors. .class, an example could be .intro, selects all elements with class equals speech marks intro. Next, we looked at hashtag ID. An example could be hashtag first name, which selects the element with ID equals speech marks first name. Then we looked at asterisks, which selects all the elements. Then we moved on to elements such as P, selects all the P elements. Then double elements, div, P, selects all the div elements and P elements. So we can quit Safari, quit text edit. That's it for this video. I'll see you guys in my next tutorial. Thanks for now.